Okay, today is Martin Luther King Day, Rotten Loser Queen, or whatever you want to call it, okay? And this is not an attack on black people's right to celebrate this day. What I'm trying to talk about is anyone supporting Antifa, Black Lives Matter groups that are actually funded by George Soros, the operative. They want you to be this. A nice way to say you're an idiot. Look, I warned the white people on one side that they're going to be testing people. They want you to act up. Don't fall for it. This is all a way to get us to agitate and to follow their program, okay? They want to stir up with these groups. But if you're celebrating Martin Luther King, and the reason why I say that is because there is people out there happy celebrating this Dr. King's day. And of course, they would be Antifa people celebrating this, but they are hypocrites, multi-hypocrites. They preach against, anyone that doesn't follow their program. George Soros is an admitted Nazi collaborator now. Just like Granddaddy Hitler is also a loser. He lost for his people. Obviously, what Dr. King wanted is a loss also, because anyone that is from Antifa should know that Dr. King wanted people to protest peacefully. Okay? What is going on with Antifa is controlled opposition to get the real people to come out of the woodwork, whether they're for Antifa or against it, to see who's going to come out and be violent first, who's going to stay in control. Okay? Learning how to just allow the idiots to run loose, okay, and act up. This is what this is. This is like, here's a string, you tie the knot in, and at a certain point, they're going to drag you back in. You don't believe it, but it's true. Okay, George Soros is a Nazi collaborator. He's basically funding this and using the same kind of methods of the Nazis. Now, did I call Martin Luther King because, Rotten Loser Queen, basically, because of the fact that these people are standing up for stuff that I doubt Dr. King would appreciate these people at all. Just like I've said before about people, fascist lemmings and stuff about with Hitler. If they were around, they would not like you. And they would correct you pretty quick, or you'd be shunned. Okay? Or worse. But people that don't know the history of Luther King, they don't know what a communist he was either. But there's always two sides to every story, so if you only believe one-sided issues and you're narrow-minded, you'll never get the roundabout picture. But, this is to tell people that, you've got Martin Luther King celebrators and Antifa, okay? How are you going to justify actions that is basically reverse racism, okay? You work for Nazi collaborators, but you're celebrating Martin Luther King Day. And so anyone that has a leader over them that is dead, that they still follow what they believe, and you're following Loser King, or you're having a, seek hail to your, dead granddaddy Hitler, and these people are rotten in their graves, okay? They are not alive. They're gone, long gone. And what they really wanted has come about, but what it's become is not what they wanted. The monster of what they started off wanting and expecting it to turn out to be became monstrous, okay, on both sides. And now with the Nazi collaboration, this is a perfect way for the real Nazis to get an uprising going, overthrowing, or get the people and use them, the very people they don't care for, as pawns and bait and disposable heroes, disposable soldiers. Back to the front. You will do what I say when I say back to the front. You will die when I say you will die. Back to the front. You coward, you servant, you blind man, back to the front. That's what you're being told. You're blind man, back to the front. You go talk to these people. They are so ignorant when it comes to what's reality. And then half these people, because they're masked, you're resembling Klan, you're trying to mask yourself. You're becoming, and it's very clever, but you're trying to become in semblance, in defense of what you're saying is civil rights. You're becoming the things that you say you hate. So you guys, got to really figure out what you really believe. I mean, your numbers are absolutely wrong, Antifa. People out there are just, out of control. And this is all controlled opposition, I'm telling you. There's people involved in this that are the real ones. And those are the ones that are contained by the gatekeepers and the ones that want to, the agents that are surrounding them. And amongst them. But they are, some are real people that they've just got ignorantly stirred up blind hatred for nothing, okay? And then they've got people they paid, and then the people that, paid protesters, and then there's people that are paid that know that this is just a controlled opposition. And these are the higher ups, okay, that George Soros knows what he's doing. You think he cares about black lives? No. I don't think he cares about anyone's lives other than his own. And, so you want to support these groups and celebrate, you want to celebrate Mr. King. You might want to recognize something that is the fact that also, Martin Luther King demonstration, all this marching had no effect on whether people had higher standard for their civil rights as far as blacks and minorities. The only reason why anyone that is black is free in this country, and this is going to sting, but it's fact, and I believe it is. You can candy coat it all you want, but it's still something to swallow. Sometimes it's sour. Listen here. There would never be any free black Africans from here that had been previously slaves if not for white people that were good, that believed it was right for people to be equal. When slaveries and things like that were starting to become abolished, okay, that took white people to stand up and say this is wrong to enslave people. And then later, it took white people in southern states to stand up, like governors, I believe it was Wallace. Anyway, standing up for these people is white people. And so the only way they would have ever been advanced as far as they are with their social setting and their basic freedoms, okay, that equal, fair doesn't mean equal, but whatever, right? Anyway, so so people have to understand that they would never be free if it wasn't good for if it wasn't for good white people that stood up against the grain and stood up for them. So when you think about your freedoms and stuff, remember white people freed you. Okay? Not Martin Luther King, not not Granddaddy Hitler. None of these people freed you. Okay? Good white people stood up for you. That's when you got your freedom. You could march all you want, and as long as we wanted to keep them down, we could have if we chose to. But people chose to believe that there was a better perspective to see these people as equal. Therefore, the people that stood up for you, now you're basically squandering the rights. You're squandering the rights and the blessings that you got bestowed, and you're spitting on the people that has helped progress your people. Remember that. If it was not for white people that were good, that thought they're doing the right thing to stand up for your civil rights, you wouldn't have them at all. And that's a fact. It's a fact that nobody can argue against. And I know it's not popular sounding, but it's true.